talk about the flood of money coming in from the billionaire class into the political process, it's important to talk about the Koch brothers. What do they stand for? Who are they? Why are they pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into the political process?
So now the Koch brothers have invested in education. That's not because they would like to make sure that all the young children of America grow up to be the great next generation. No, they would like to push out their libertarian ideology.
On November 13th, Chapman's student-run newspaper published an article on the $5 million donation from the Koch Foundation, which sparked a school-wide debate on the influence of money in academia.
My name is Juan Bustillo. I am the president of Alternatives and Democracy. The Kochs have a history since the 80s of pretty much using their millions and millions and millions of dollars to influence politics, and they do it by funding think tanks.
I'm Stephen Ragsdale, and I'm the ambassador for the College Republicans. My first impression was that the Koch brothers were trying to influence Chapman.
My name's Tyler Ferrari, and I'm the president of Young Americans for Liberty. I never really had an issue with it. I just thought, oh, cool, more prominent people in economics and politics are becoming interested in Chapman.
My name's Matthew Remenick, and I'm president of Chapman Democrats. I think anytime that it comes from a very politically charged group, such as the Koch brothers, who influence a lot of Congress members, who've influenced the hiring of professors at other schools, I think that becomes problematic.
They're not going to be spending their money at Chapman without wanting something back.
Push their agenda and hire some faculty that would change the students' minds.
I think it's problematic that immediately following this donation, a couple libertarian professors were attempted to be hired and then successfully hired.
Because nobody spends their money without wanting something in return.
The way the first article was written made it seem like the Koch brothers go out preying on unsuspecting students, trying to influence them and do this nationwide. And then in Strupa's piece they wrote, it turns out that it was the other way around.
I've worked with the Koch Foundation for several years, since when I was at George Mason University. And at that time was when I met, I think he was the vice president of the foundation, when we asked him for support to hire a very big group of economists, one of which was Vernon Smith.
At Chapman University in California, this cycle is studied by Vernon Smith.
A lot of economists do not like the idea of bubbles because they're so hard to understand.
In this experiment, Smith wants to see what happens when students compete to earn money on a simulated trading floor.
And then finally, I think it was a couple of years ago, that Vernon Smith came to talk to me, and he said that this project, Humanomics, and they wanted to seek support from a variety of donors, one of which was the Koch Foundation. They're just one of the three big donors that help us put together the resources for the Smith Institute.
Traditionally, the Koch brothers have only donated a few $1,000s per year, but then this past year they upped the donation to $5 million.
Basically, they introduced a course called Humanomics, and then there was and students wanted more of it, so they got more and more Humanomics courses.
Chapman was accepting this money from the Koch organization to fund a Smith Institute for Political Economy, and through that money they're being used to hire professors to do more research into political economy.
The students loved it, so Chapman wanted to put more funding into this, so they approached the Koch brothers.
I'm worried about the faculty members having an agenda, and that agenda being one that's very partisan and not objective.
I think that even with this donation, I don't think it would have an effect on how students learn or the types of research that can be done at the university.
I would expect them to at least think critically about who they're receiving the donation from, and maybe look at their actions at other universities to determine whether or not that donation would send a good message to the Chapman community.
I'm not worried about the university having a conservative agenda because nationwide Democrats outnumber Republicans by a large margin.
The Kochs are just a red flag.
If the concerns are based on the fact that the money comes from a source whose political views they differ from, well, there's nothing I can say, So if my colleagues don't like the Koch brothers' libertarian viewpoints, well, that doesn't say anything to me. The only concern that I could understand is if we in fact had reason to believe that we are being imposed these hires, or that these hires are substandard in some way,
The way the Panther worded it was that it made it seem like this was some sort of secret donation that the school was trying to hide.
And it sounds like they suggested some professors.
My response is that this really is I should say, is a misunderstanding of how the process goes. So what I tried to explain both in the original article and then in my response yesterday is that it is a problem if, let's say you are the foundation, you call me and you say, you know, Daniele, we have $2 million and we'd like to give you $2 million for you to hire so-and-so. Or we have $2 million and we'd like to give them to you for you to show that this progressive policy is problematic. That would be a problem. That would be something I would consider unethical, and the university would never take that money.
And then now I'm kind of questioning what their strategy, like why they're putting funding towards other schools, because Strupa really cleared up a lot of things.
When you donate money, you have to distance yourself from the use of the money. Otherwise, the IRS will have a problem with you. So, for example, I donate money to the math department here. I've been donating money for a long time. I give so that they have extra money to travel, extra money to invite people. I would never tell the math department, use this money to bring in this particular person, because that would be in violation, would be an ethical violation, but also would be in violation of IRS code. I cannot decide where the money I donate goes.
Personally, I think it'd be better if they were to be a little bit more open about the decision. I know Strupa said that he announced it in, when they received it a few months ago, but I would have liked to see a bigger statement about it and a bigger, at least verbiage to kind of declare that they are against these ideals. They are against the Koch brothers influencing the curriculum, and rather they're more on the side of academic freedom.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we're paying, $60,000, $70,000 a year to come here. Might as well know where other money's coming from and what forces are influencing what students are learning.
We don't take money when they tell us what we have to discover.
And that this donation is purely to fund whatever institute it may be funding, but it won't be affecting the hiring of professors and things like that.
I don't think there is anything tangible that could impact our academic integrity, except for the fact that some people don't like the political position of the Koch brothers. And that to me is irrelevant.
I've seen professors holding their own personal idea, their own personal political views, and telling the students openly what they are. And I have no problem with that. Like, professors should be opinionated and they should challenge students who either agree or disagree with them. But I have a problem with those ideas coming from a financial interest. I really would be extremely surprised if they had even a glimpse of who these two particular hires are. It's just very hard to imagine.
I think Strupa cleared up a lot of questions. The only one I still have really is where exactly the two recommended professors came from, and how much the Koch brothers were pushing those two.
In an email, Provost Glenn Pfeiffer clarified that once a donation has been made, the donor cannot say how it should be used. Doing so would jeopardize the donation's tax-deductible status.
Right now, the only concern I hear, or I read on the Panther, is these people are paid by somebody who is a conservative, and we don't like that. Well, really, frankly, the political opinion of the Koch brothers has nothing to do with the quality of this faculty. We think that this is corrupting the process. Well, why is it corrupting? We found the people, not the Koch brothers.